Hey everybody, tons to talk about. We're recording this during the live show for June 18th, 2025. We're going to be going over some news, some things that are going on, and of course, getting into the biggest news we've seen drop in quite some time. There's been many headlines from Darrington Press stabs Wizards in the back, to poaching feels good, to a whole bunch of just wild press releases based on the fact that two of the top D&D designers in the last 20 years quit Wizards of the Coast and now work for Darrington Press. That's right, Darrington Press, the lovely creators of the new Daggerheart, which we were just showing off on stream today. I don't see any of this as backstabbery. Look, I work for some larger companies that when someone leaves a company, they always try to make those people sign, non-compete, 2-year, can't work in your field anymore, and basically squash your career if you left their company. I think that's bullshit. Sometimes you're just tired of working at that company. So this is what we're talking about here. I know. Thought Kendrick also was fired. I saw that, Nick. I was right the same day. So look at this. Mr. Perkins, Mr. Crawford, both with Darrington Press. I do find it funny that this is the photo and these are not the Darrington Press people. That's the first thing I will say. It's cool that they're joining the crew. We don't know what they're doing yet, exactly. They could be doing anything, but I think it's funny that this isn't with, like, the guy who created Daggerheart and some of the other people. So maybe they're giving them their own team. Maybe they're giving them the freedom to make their own game. Who knows? Maybe they're going to make them their version of D&D. I don't know. I don't know. I do think that they have a really good pedigree. You cannot like them as designers. But overall, these guys do good things. They make the hobby that we're a part of. We wouldn't have some games like Shadow Dark without 5e being as popular as it was. And also fumbling the ball. People aren't infallible. They fuck up. People make mistakes. But these two gentlemen that I've met numerous times over the years are both very kind. Chris is a fantastic GM. And I think they're both really good designers. If you like their design philosophies or not, they are good at what they do. And we have a right as fans to dislike things they make. I know one of the chat groups I was in, they were saying they don't like Candlekeep from Perkins. And that's fair. Candlekeep was, I believe, a series of adventures. I know the ladies of D&D or Femme Gamer Party now were running things from Candlekeep. I think they were great bite sizes. But I'm looking at it from a very large perspective, a really zoomed out perspective of what's going on. These two left a company that they saw was on fire. I've talked a lot of shit about Wizards of the Coast just in the last 24 months. With the OGL debacle, that was, 3 or 4 years ago now? But then they just kept making little, shitty, stupid mistakes. And that's not, the big ones are not the fault of the designers. Most of the big mistakes were fault of the company, the C-suite. And you have a weird situation where you have two C-suites that create what I like to call kind of like an airlock. When you have Hasbro and you have Wizards of the Coast, and they're the two C-suites, and something enters one from whatever side, and it shuts, and it gets stuck in there for a really long fucking time. And because of that, when things finally come out, it's either too late, it's a bad decision, or they haven't talked to the teams past the airlocks that are making the actual games, making the actual products. So when you can't understand why something is done, most of the time the answer is money. I don't get it. Why the fuck would you do that? Money. Man, this is a bad design. Why would they print it this way? Money. Like, if it's time, time is money. Like, it always falls to that. Now, for Darrington Press to pick these two guys up, look, they have exploded. They just put out Daggerheart. It sold out everywhere. People are now waiting to get it again. And I do want to show this. I got mine in the mail today, as of this recording. And it comes in a slipcase. It comes with all of the cards and the book. Well printed, under $55. That's fucking insanity. Now, if this was D&D, you would be buying these separate, right? You would be buying the book, and if you wanted the cards, you'd be buying the cards. And I know people don't like the cards. This has been talked about in chat. This has been talked about everywhere. The cards are a great learning agent, a teaching agent, a character creation agent. After that, you can just write them down, guys. You don't have to use them. But for $50-something, you're getting all of the fucking cards. You just get them. You can't and should not be mad that they are giving you quality and quantity. Not one or the other in this situation. They took their time and developed something great. And these two guys coming on board, I don't know, man. It's a good pedigree. I feel like it's a great play from them to bring on those people, because it also may bring some people from Wizards of the Coast that are fans of D&D over to whatever they make. If they keep making things for Daggerheart, maybe it's going to be for that. If they keep making things for a new system that they make, maybe it'll bring those people over. Maybe they're going to make their version of 5e. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, the amount of press that they're getting over this is wild. Chris Perkins, when he was doing PAX Unplugged, PAX East, all the Penny Arcade expos, when he was GMing for those things, this guy was making somewhere between $35,000 to $44,000, is my understanding, for being on stage. Right? That means he was one of the highest paid GMs in the history of GMs. In the history. This motherfucker. So even if he's not a designer and he decides to GM so they have a different style on their network, look at the pedigree of fucking GMs this place has now. Very cool that they're doing this. And also, if you didn't even know this, Critical Role was just in Rolling Stone just a couple days ago. And 10 years of Critical Role, and Matt Mercer's response is, "We are never going away." You can see 10 years of Critical Role, we're never going away. This is amazing. They're in Rolling Stone magazine. That's insanity, dude. Insanity. So look. It's not a backstab. It's a good company move. You need talent, you get the best. They left that company on their own accord. They weren't fired. Chris and them left. And you got to think they're probably tired of dealing all the bullshit. Waking up every day and getting shade from their community because they were told to make decisions they had to make. Now, this is assumptions on my end. But they left the company after being there for so long. It was just time. People leave their jobs all the time. These are two people who are people, for fuck's sake, leaving their company to go do something for another, to continue their career, to enjoy being creative. If you are a designer of any form, in any field, if you're a creator, having your hands tied feels like suffocation. And if their hands were tied, and let's be real, there's no fucking way they weren't, going somewhere else for freedom and being able to do what you want, we should be happy for these people as creators in the industry. Creators that have given us D&D 5e. We've all played it. You don't say tabletop RPGs when you talk about tabletop RPGs. You say D&D. It's synonymous. It has taken over the actual terminology. While they believe that as a company they can be a brand identity like Nike, the other day they're a tabletop RPG company with really creative people. Throw all their mistakes away. Their creators aren't usually making those mistakes. There may be a couple things that are done by them, but you can't bash them for every fucking mistake. I could bash them for the OGL on a corporate level, them fucking us over. I could bash them for sending people to houses with Pinkertons because something got released early and it was their fault. There's shit like that. But these two guys should be not getting any shade for going to another company, and neither should Darrington Press. Darrington Press is a tabletop RPG company that just made two very tactical, educated hires. They got two of the best, like it or not. So, maybe, instead of being dicks about it, we see what they do. If they fuck up while they're there, then you throw some shade. Maybe they make something really bad. Maybe that's horrible. Exactly, Serving Hands. Exactly. It wasn't the designers that hired the Pinkertons. You got it. So, while I don't love all their design work, they are very talented. I am excited to see what they're going to do there. What I'm really waiting for is when Critical Role does that in-house interview they do with a lot of people and talk about what's going on and what's this going to look like? Are we going to finally hear why they left? How were their mouths stapled shut when they signed off leaving that with whatever pension or whatever it is they got out of that place? And then for people like Todd who just got fired from there, you can tell D&D is trying to pivot and make moves because no matter where you look, the 2024 edition of D&D is not done well. People are not happy with this new edition. These guys left. They finished their job and left. I remember back during Pathfinder days, specifically Pathfinder 1, you followed designers a lot that made the adventures that you enjoy. I have my favorites from back in the day. Your Nick Logues, Eric Mona's stuff, Lou Agresta, Tim Hitchcock is one of my favorites of all time, Tom Noss. All of those people made adventures I liked, so I followed them around and picked up whatever they made so I could have their stuff. I like their design style, just like you pick up certain authors because you like the way they write their books. There's something for everyone. I'm curious to see what they do with this. And during those days, we also saw the fall of D&D once. We saw them try to make 4th edition. It was a bad position. It was bad marketing. It's not that the game was really bad. There are things out of that all of us use as GMs, from using the rules of bloody to skill challenges to ritual magic. There were good things that came out of that. There's things that they didn't keep. It's one of the best monster manuals of all time. But D&D doesn't know how to listen to their audience. They just make shit decisions on a macro level. But it wasn't Chris and Jeremy making a bunch of shit decisions at a macro level. They're the designers of the game. So, we're going to go to some of the chat stuff here. The problem I think a lot of people have with Crawford behind the 2024, well, pushed by Hasbro and WotC, design handling of it was mixed at best. Yes, but you got to remember from the top down, he probably had that list of, we want something that's more easily accessible. The layout has to be better. Everything needs to be polished. It needs to be in a format that any human can pick it up and play it. We don't know what scale and scope he was giving to design this. He wasn't allowed to go super far. For all we know, Jeremy may have wanted to make an entirely different system. And D&D said, like, fuck. Really, they should have just left 2014 edition alone and maybe gave us updated rules with errata in it and kept it just D&D 5e and gave us an updated version of it. But they wanted to brand and resell it. Look at how many times they renamed the fucking project, dude. Like, it had, what, 6 names? It's like HBO. No, it's HBO Max. No, it's just Max. Now we're going back to HBO. Like, they couldn't get their shit straight. So I get the disdain of, or dislike, I should say, not disdain, of the 2024 stuff. I don't like it at all. They cut all the fun stuff out. They got rid of the things that matter to me. And we keep finding more things that are missing between the two. So, let the guy have some freedom here. Let him prove that he knows how to make something. Let him prove that he isn't what he was doing. Let him show that it was corpo greed that was causing these problems. Same for Chris as well. Let him show that that's what's going on. Before we come in guns blazing, yelling at people about being a designer. I know there's designers in chat right now. We've all put out a product where there was something in it we weren't happy with. But we put it out and we're like, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe the audience will like it. And sometimes you get that branding back when the audience reads your stuff and goes, this is fucking cool. Sometimes you got to take it on the nose, man. And your shit was bad. And you go back to the drawing board and you make something else. Can't be discouraged, but you can learn from your actions. And all I can ask is that these two learn from what they did for D&D and don't make some of those same glaring mistakes that they've made again. If they're the ones who made them. So for me, calm down, take a breath. There's a lot of other shit that's on fire right now. And these two guys going to Critical Role are good news. We're not losing 2 vets. They weren't... The taste of working the industry wasn't so bad for them that they quit and stopped. That happens to a lot of people. You know what I mean? They could have just never came back. And I've been 2 of the greats gone. Just imagine if your favorite designers quit. Imagine if Monty Cook decided, oh man, he got shaded in forever, even though he's got one of the illest pen games in the world of Spigs. A buddy of mine from Cypher Unlimited, he does have one of the illest pen games ever. If he would have quit after Tolus, when 3.5, if he would have quit when he was fired from D&D with Rob Schwab and them, I interviewed and had to pull my interview because D&D said I couldn't have it up. That's right. I interviewed both of them about 5e coming out before they let them go. And I had to pull the article. I just want people to think about it for a minute. It is the company making these really fucking stupid decisions. It's not the creators. So to me, to Jeremy and to Chris, yo, congrats. You moved to the next company that I think is going to be making some waves and shaking trees and changing things up. You may not love Daggerheart as a game. We've talked about that in chat numerous times. I am actually a fan of it so far. I've ran it twice. I've really enjoyed it. I like the character creation. It's simple, but you have options. But I have questions on my end. But just like any game you take home, you change the things you don't like because it's your fucking table. If you don't like a rule and your group agrees, change it. What's the point? There's a rule inside of Daggerheart that basically tells you not to read too deep or dig too hard or min-max what you're doing. Go with the flow, go with the rule at the table, and have fun. It's not made for min-maxing, but we're going to have those people because it's a style of play. And I don't think there's anything wrong with your power gamer, your min-maxer, your optimizer. That's what they find fun. Plumbing a system is fun to them. Good. You do you, fam. Do they belong at every table? No, but neither does every narrative designer and writer and game master and player. Different folks, man, different strokes. So for me, I'm excited about this. I think it's good. I hope everybody else is. We're going to be staying live after this. I just want to record this segment. Check out Daggerheart. Get a copy if you can. If nothing else, add it to your collection. It is a gorgeous book. The inside is great. I'm probably going to do more of a deep dive review, but down below is a link to the live if you're watching this afterwards. And you can go back a little bit and see me flip through the book quickly just to show you what there is. We're going to leave this here just for you to ponder and think on something for a minute. You've had friends leave jobs. And there are friends of yours that have left the job that everybody hated, but they're your friend. And it's because people don't know the whole story on why they left. Today, we just saw two people leave one of the biggest companies and the biggest company in tabletop RPGs to go do what they enjoy at another company that is changing the way games are published, produced, and seen. Critical Role has given us so much stuff over the years, from actual plays to advice on running the game, just fun. If it's not your fun, then don't fucking watch it. It's that simple. But you don't have to yuck someone else's yum that's enjoying it. So, congrats, you guys. I hope it does well. For all those who are watching this afterwards, leave a comment down below. Are you excited? What's your favorite? Let's do a positive. What is your favorite thing that Chris or Jeremy have made? What's your favorite thing they've done? I don't care about the bad. What's your favorite? Put that down below. That's the stuff they need to see. They need to see the shit that they made that everyone likes. No one wants to hear about what they did wrong. I told you to take the garbage out. Why is it still there? Go get it.